Alright guys, good night, good afternoon, good whatever you want to call it. I don't know, it's like 9 o'clock at night or something like that, but it's the only time I can actually work on cars right now because it's 115 degrees outside and I don't have a shop. So we're gonna start the video now. We got a pretty cool video for you guys. So recently you guys saw the video with the, I guess NASCAR styled F100. I have the LEDs back in and a lot of you guys were asking me about that. Kind of concerned I changed the headlights, so I have the old ones back in as you can see there. But we had an issue with the halogens, which I'll explain in a minute. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and move this truck over to where the Galaxy is. All right, so now I got the F100 kind of up to the garage. This is kind of what we're going to be dealing with today is the headlights. Like I said, the old LEDs are in. I took the halogens back out because they actually did not work with the stock harness in this truck. So as you can see, they're actually pretty dim. These aren't really the brightest things on the planet. I mean, obviously LEDs are pretty bright, but they're probably not as bright as they should be, and that's because they're not getting the correct power supply. So if you weren't aware of this before, F100s actually have their headlights ran basically from your battery to your fuse block, to your dimmer switch, to your headlight switch, and your headlight switch has a hot and cold relay inside of that, and then that relay is what powers your headlights. So you have about 20 feet of wiring from the battery to the headlights. And when you could really just go from the battery to relay to headlights and have like 6 feet of wiring. So basically what's going on is that 20 feet of wiring creates like a lot of voltage loss, and actually the strain on the wiring harness from being that long and having a halogen that pulls so much more amperage actually trips that hot and cold relay inside of the factory headlight switch and causing my headlights. I don't know if you ever had your headlights get hot and they flicker at night. It's a very common problem with these trucks, and so that's what was happening with the halogens. I can run them, but I need to put a heavy duty harness in it, or get that relay, or basically run the headlight circuit off of a different relay, which is what the wiring harness we're about to install does. And right when I'm about to give LMC some credit for some cool stuff, this is what I got. Come on, this is supposed to be an American restoration company. I mean, come on, really? Couldn't even make their own, it's just relays. I mean, I could have made my own, but still, this was only 20 bucks, so why not? Oh well, not really a fan of putting cheap Chinese junk on my truck, but I guess I don't have too much of a choice, so this is what we're gonna work with. Probably end up changing these relays, because I've never seen a relay that kind of looks like this. This doesn't really look that great. But yeah, looks like we got two 30 amp relays, and then the headlight harness itself is pretty much just plug and play. So that's kind of the cool thing. So, you know, all joking aside with, you know, cheap stuff, this should still do the job. It's a harness, it doesn't really matter. I'll rewire the truck one day, but this is really cool because it just bolts right in. I'm gonna go ahead and lay this thing out and kind of spec it out of the truck and get ready to put it in. I'll show you guys the full process. All right, so this layout's actually pretty simple. So basically if you want to make this at home, you could. You have two 30 amp relays. They both have power that goes to our battery right here. I don't know why there's two of them. It'd be nice if they wired it into one, but oh well. We have our common ground for our lights. This plugs into our stock headlight harness here. Basically where the headlights plug in, you got here and here. You have a ground at each of those, and that's really the whole thing. And then basically this just goes to your headlights, or this goes to the existing harness. That's how it gets power. But yeah, pretty interesting, super simple. So yeah, I guess all $20, that's what you get. So we're gonna go ahead and mock it up and lay it out, and should go right in the truck pretty easily. So in case it was a little bit confusing before, I got it kind of laid out. So basically, I'm gonna have each relay just kind of tucked under here. So I got the relays tucked up right here, and then we have our power wire just kind of runs over to the battery like so. And then I have this long harness that just kind of goes up and over to the other headlight. It's pretty much just that simple. So it deletes that 20 feet of wiring like we were talking about. All right, just coming back. Daytime now. Got the relays just kind of mocked up there. So we still got to run each of the harness pieces. But coming back in the daytime, I wish the sun was still there. This is actually ash, like fire ash smoke. This is not overcast. It's the middle of August in California. So there's a fire like think 50 miles from where I'm at. Not too far, but yeah, the coloring on the camera makes it look kind of, I don't know, maybe you can see it now. It's like a kind of a tan, it's definitely not like a cloud color. You can tell it's got that kind of brownish tint to it, so you can tell it's smoke. I also noticed when I came up to just my daily, you guys might not be able to see it, but you can actually see all the ash on the window. So nice. So we're just gonna keep on trucking along and get this harness in. But yeah, a little bit weird. Not really that great start to our fire season. So yikes. Alright, so you can see once we feed it over, we have a ground and then the actual plug itself. You can see the original ground back there on the actual core support. So we'll just put that ground on there and then just use this plug instead of the existing one. So it's actually really simple. Alright, our little install's done. As you can see, we've got our relays mounted up right here. Then they go through the core support. You can barely see the wiring. It kind of comes right through the front there and then goes off to this headlight. I ran it down and then actually used a piece of double-sided sticky tape, you guys probably saw that, and pushed it right underneath the grill, or behind the grill there, so you can't see any of the wires hanging down. I don't like looking at that kind of stuff. And then our main power wire comes off the one relay, travels up and around the back side of the battery, and then I mounted it right on the positive terminal there. So that came out good, but now I need to desperately align these things. So I'm gonna go ahead and back the truck out, close the garage door, and hopefully get these things straightened out so they're not all, you know, like facing off to one side like this one is. Kind of even see it just looking at it. It's like facing like way over here. Dang, you guys can see just how much brighter the headlights are by using this harness. Because basically because I spoke wrong earlier, the 30 amp, one 30 amp relay is for the low beams, the other is for the high beams. Basically, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it, but when I click on the high beams, you can actually hear the relay go ahead and trip over. Yeah, so underneath the hood you can hear it kind of clicking, but everything works like it should, so that's awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and align these things because you can see they're not quite even. I'm blinding people with this left one because it goes up and to the side, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop that one down and probably pull it in a little bit and try to get this as bright on the center as I can. All right, this is gonna be kind of hard to show, but inside behind the grill you might be able to see that little square that has nothing in it, right where the headlight adjuster used to be. Well, as you can tell, because the headlight doesn't really look, you know, it's kind of like facing really far down compared to the other one, I broke it, which just added like 2-3 hours to this whole simple headlight harness fix. So now I need to actually take a spare grill, and basically what happened is you can see the adjuster right there, that pulled out, and it's not like you can just push it back in because there's a little metal sleeve on the back side of it, which you can see right there. So that little metal piece kind of broke off, and basically the whole thing's trash at this point. So you either replace the whole grill, or basically, because I don't think they sell this just the adjuster piece, So I'm gonna just go ahead and drill these rivets out and rivet this piece, this little tiny section, into my grill, which is gonna just, everything about it's gonna suck. I'm so irritated. But yeah, so I gotta take the headlight I just put in back out, cut this piece out, and then rivet mine back in. God, this is annoying. Alright, so now you can see what I was talking about. So basically, these are the two brackets. This is the one that obviously broke. If you spin them around, you can see there's a metal, basically like a metal little piece that goes on the backside. So the metal piece sits there, and then the plastic piece clips into it. And there was no way that I would actually get this out without breaking it. So it's actually easier to just replace the whole thing. I don't even think you can buy anything like this. So luckily I have, you know, plenty of spare grills and broken bent grills. Like this one's really trash. It's got big things and dents all over it. So I'm going to use this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a piece, either a rivet or a bolt, and just reinstall this thing in the same holes. And hopefully this fixes my issue and I can be done with this little project. Alright guys, got it all back together. You can see the halos are looking good. We got the LEDs back in it. I'm genuinely curious which headlights you guys like better. Do you like these, or do you like the old school actual glass tinted amber halogen that I had? That's kind of an old school racing look I was going for. So it's temporary, you know, I could put those back in, but I was genuinely curious on your guys' feedback. So let me know down in the comments of what you guys like better. Got the whole headlight situation all cleaned up. You can tell just the halos are brighter. And then when I go ahead and pop the headlights on, you can actually hear the relay. You can hear it click when I turn them back off, but you can see they're nice and leveled out now, and very bright. These are the low beams. Quite impressed with that, I must say. But yeah, pretty stoked with the way that came out and the way that looks. And you can see we now have plenty of power to run both the halos and the headlights at the same time, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you did go on to like today's video, please drop a like. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And then like I said earlier, this isn't the greatest product. I mean, I've had a lot of trouble in the past with LMC's products. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but it is a lot of Chinese junk. This stuff, it does so far work pretty well, as you guys can see. So it's only like 20-25 bucks. So it's kind of, I mean, you know, it's worth the time saving you're getting out of it. So I'll put a link down in the description if you guys are wanting to check out this harness for yourself. You have halogens and they're giving you issues, or your headlights are just pretty dark. You want to run a 30 amp fuse for your low beams, 30 amp fuse for your high beams. This is pretty much the way I would go about doing it. So I'll leave that down in the description for you guys to go ahead and check out for yourselves. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll see you guys in the next video with this truck, as well as that Galaxy, as well as the red Galaxy. We didn't forget about that one. See you guys.